The confirmed number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 342,343. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 7,275. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 1,756, with total confirmed deaths at 72. We anticipate those numbers to change as the county updates its last 24-hour operating period. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Rhiannon Trutanich. It's 4 p.m. on Tuesday, November 17th. 94% of Californians, or roughly 37 million people, are now living in counties that fall into the state's most restrictive COVID tier. The state passed 1 million COVID cases last week, and California Governor Gavin Newsom said on Monday that cases nearly doubled in the last 10 days, calling it the fastest increase yet. Over the weekend, LA County saw more than 3,000 new cases for 2 days in a row. Saturday's report of 3,780 new cases is the highest number of positive cases in one day, not associated with a backlog since mid-July. This grim milestone means more restrictions will begin to take place, affecting individuals and businesses. Governor Newsom announced that he is pulling the emergency brake on reopenings, and a curfew may be in our future. Most non-essential businesses, restaurants, and places of worship will have to close or severely restrict their operations. Governor Newsom is also ordering a tougher mask mandate. Californians must now wear a mask whenever they are outside their homes. There are a few exceptions, though, such as when they're in their cars, working alone in an office, or when they're outside and more than 6 feet away from others. In all cases, however, they must have a mask nearby and put it on when people come closer than 6 feet from them. A statewide curfew is also under consideration. Governor Newsom says he'll be looking at studies at other cities and countries that have implemented some form of a curfew to see how effective they've been. More restrictions may be announced in the coming days. Last week, the California Department of Public Health issued a voluntary travel advisory. Those planning to get away for the holidays are being asked to reconsider their plans, and travelers coming into California must self-quarantine for 14 days. LA Mayor Eric Garcetti reminds Angelenos to avoid traveling unless absolutely necessary. He also says the city plans to ramp up enforcement of its current health rules. City departments will issue citations and revoke business permits as needed. And finally, LA is also taking steps to boost its testing program, including setting up a new site at LAX Airport for travelers. Garcetti says there will be a 24-hour rapid testing site at Bradley International Terminal and Terminals 2 and 6 beginning this week. Public health officials are seeing a dangerous trend when it comes to COVID testing. They say some people are getting tested for coronavirus so they can attend or host parties and not wear a mask or social distance. LA County's Director of Public Health, Dr. Barbara Ferrer, says that it is absolutely the wrong thing to do and urge people to stop. She says she's heard of young adults getting tested on a Thursday in hopes of getting their negative results in time for a Saturday party. Ferrer notes that such tests provide a false sense of security and does not guarantee that the individual is still negative on the day of the party. She says gatherings with those who are not immediate family can become super spreaders of COVID-19. She adds that in some ways, those getting tested with the intention to socialize are wasting a valuable resource. LA County has seen a rise in coronavirus cases among all age groups, but the jump has especially been alarming among young adults. Those ages 18 to 29 make up the largest proportion of newly diagnosed COVID-19 cases in the county. The case rate for this group of residents more than doubled over the past month, from 11.5 cases per 100,000 residents to 25 cases per 100,000 residents. The second highest case rate includes adults between 30 to 45, which has nearly doubled over the past month. Dr. Ferrer urges all residents to follow the proper protocols, like wearing a mask, washing hands regularly, and avoiding gatherings with people outside of their immediate family. On the heels of promising news about 2 potential vaccines for COVID-19, the nation's top infectious disease expert warns Americans to not become complacent. Dr. Anthony Fauci says it's important to continue following COVID-19 guidance set forth by public health officials while waiting for a vaccine. Pharmaceutical companies Pfizer and Moderna both announced successful trial updates recently, saying vaccines appear to be 90% and 94.5% effective, respectively, in preventing infections. But no vaccine is expected to become widely available to the general public until spring of 2021. Meanwhile, COVID-19 infections are continuing to rise throughout the U.S. and averaging more than 100,000 per day. The country has more than 11.2 million confirmed cases and more than 248,000 deaths. Fauci says the number of daily infections will continue to climb over the next several weeks, and that's why he keeps pleading with Americans to do their part and wear their masks. He also urges them not to congregate in large groups, especially indoors, and to have a risk-benefit discussion with family members to decide how to spend the holidays, especially if there are higher-risk individuals who are involved. More than 1 million children have now tested positive for the COVID-19 in the U.S. The American Academy of Pediatrics and the Children's Hospital Association are collaborating to collect and share data from across the country. Their study also shows close to 112,000 new cases in children during a one-week period ending on November 12th, the biggest number ever recorded during the pandemic. AAP President Dr. Sally Goza says as a pediatrician who practiced medicine for more than 30 years, this number is staggering and tragic. She adds they haven't seen a virus affecting communities in this way since before vaccines became available for measles and polio. The data also shows a disproportionate impact on Black and Hispanic children. They suffered a high number of infections and are more likely to be affected by economic hardships and a lack of access to education and other critical services. While 1 million cases sound like a lot, experts believe the number of children with the coronavirus is widely underestimated. AAP notes that since most kids have little to no symptoms, many children are never tested. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is also seeing a connection between the pandemic and mental health. A recent report by the CDC shows that children ages 5 to 11 made emergency room visits related to mental health about 24% more than last year. And visits from children ages 12 to 17 went up by about 31%. Dr. Goza says we urgently need a new nationwide strategy to control the pandemic, and that should include implementing proven public health measures like mask wearing and physical distancing. Freight carriers say holiday shipments may top last year's load. The Port of Long Beach processed more than 800,000 cargo containers last month, the highest monthly total in its 109-year history. Freight carriers say global demand is building as the holidays approach and consumer spending is surging during the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of the most popular types of items being shipped right now include electronic goods, fashion items, and toys. A recent study by delivery firm Parcel Hero shows consumers will spend about the same amount of money on food and presents as last year, but this year more of those purchases will be online since in-person shopping has been limited due to the coronavirus. Falling prices for bunker fuel are expected to help lift profit margins for container lines, which are struggling to meet demands in some parts of the world, including Asia. Shippers there are having a difficult time due to a container shortage, and ports in other places are congested with boxes that are stuck at various terminals. The Port of Long Beach is the second busiest seaport in the U.S. and moves $200 billion in cargo every year. Its executive director, Mario Cordero, says they are optimistic about the gradual economic recovery while bracing for any shocks still to come, especially with this new wave of COVID-19 cases. El Camino College students enrolled in healthcare programs are getting some much-needed help to pay for their classes. The El Camino College Foundation awarded more than $18,000 in grants. This money makes a big difference for students who can't otherwise afford the tuition during COVID-19. One student says she was struggling to pay her bills because of the pandemic and almost dropped out of nursing school. She is one of many students in the nursing program who will benefit from the $7,100 in funding recently supplied by the First Response Healthcare Student Support Fund. The funding was created by the Foundation for California Community Colleges in partnership with the CCC Chancellor's Office. This is the second round of funds given out. Overall, El Camino awarded grants of about $500 to 34 deserving students. El Camino closed its campus in March due to COVID-19 and moved its classes online. But many nursing courses, including labs, are taking place in person and following the guidelines set by the state. The SpaceX spacecraft that launched on Sunday successfully docked with the International Space Station last night. The 4 astronauts of the SpaceX Crew Dragon safely arrived at their destination around 8 p.m. and emerged a couple of hours later after more than 30 hours of being in the capsule. They launched into orbit Sunday night from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida for a 6-month mission. It's the first operational flight for the spacecraft and marks the private company's second astronaut mission for NASA. The 3 U.S. astronauts include Michael Hopkins, Victor Glover, and Shannon Walker, as well as Soichi Noguchi with the Japanese Aerospace Exploration Agency. This is a culmination of years of collaborating between NASA and the private sector as part of an effort to bring launch capabilities back to U.S. soil and end a dependency on Russia for trips to the International Space Station. Disneyland and Disney California Adventure may still be closed, but the theme parks are continuing to prepare for their reopening. This week, Chairman of Disney Parks, Experiences and Products, Josh D'Amaro, shared new information about coming attractions at locations around the world. Here in Southern California, we're getting a closer look inside the Avengers campus at California Adventure. It features an attraction called Web Slingers, a Spider-Man adventure where guests will be able to board vehicles and help Spider-Man take control of an army of spider bots that have taken over the Avengers campus. The new land will replace what used to be a Bugs Land, and at Disneyland, Disney officials previously announced that a new attraction called Mickey and Minnie's Runaway will be coming to Mickey's Toontown. Last month, the state cleared some theme parks to reopen after more than 7 months of coronavirus closures, but Disney and other large theme parks were told they have to wait longer to reopen their doors. The official reopening date remains in the air as Orange County moves back into the state's most restrictive tier. Meanwhile, Disney Parks officials expanded its downtown Disney district to include parts of the Disneyland Resort. They will also open Buena Vista Street inside California Adventure on November 19th to provide more dining and shopping experiences during the holiday season. Cities all across the South Bay just stepped up their broadband connectivity, thanks to the work of a local organization.
3, 2, 1, hit it.
We're lit.
The South Bay City's Council of Government hosted a virtual event this morning celebrating the completion of a fiber optic network in the South Bay region for use by city halls and local and regional public agencies. That was the official switch turning on the new South Bay fiber network, and it was made possible through a 15-city municipal partnership in the South Bay area of Los Angeles County. This was spearheaded by the South Bay City's Council of Governments. The South Bay region will benefit from high-speed, low-cost broadband connectivity and providing critical infrastructure for the region. The public-private partnership hopes to improve not only connectivity, but also improve real-time transportation and traffic control. With better traffic synchronization between all of the South Bay cities, traveling from Rancho Palos Verdes to Torrance to El Segundo and every city in between will be more seamless. Approximately 100 of miles of fiber will connect all city halls, at least 2 data centers, and approximately 50 other buildings identified as critical by the SBCCOG. The South Bay Workforce Investment helped commission a 2-year study to see if there were opportunities to lower the cost and prepare South Bay cities for this necessary resource. The half-hour live event was moderated by South Bay Wind's Executive Director Jan Vogel and included guests like LA County Supervisors Janice Hahn and Mark Ridley Thomas, as well as Assemblyman Al Muratsuchi. If you're planning to stay safer at home this Thanksgiving, Zoom wants to help you connect with your loved ones for free. The video communications company is lifting its 40-minute limit from midnight on November 26th to 6 a.m. on November 27th. Zoom tweeted that it's offering this free service as a thank you to its customers worldwide. So family gatherings don't get cut short. Zoom is free to use with restrictions and charges a fee for conference calls that are more than 40 minutes with 3 or more participants. For more information, you can visit zoom.us. The Torrance City Council meets tonight to conduct city business. Agenda items include resolutions to honor police personnel who have served our city for up to 33 years. The council will also read a couple of proclamations declaring Saturday, November 28th as Small Business Saturday in the city of Torrance and November 30th to December 6th as United Against Hate Week. You can tune into the meeting live starting at 7 p.m. tonight. It can be seen here on City Cable, streaming online, and on demand on YouTube. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. An organization in Torrance that helps seniors to feel connected, especially during this pandemic, needs your help. The South Bay Village is looking for volunteers to do some grocery shopping for our elderly neighbors or provide them with safe rides to the doctors. Last year, 1 in 3 seniors experienced loneliness every day, and this year they're even more vulnerable to feeling isolated due to COVID-19. This local nonprofit has been helping seniors in the South Bay to remain in their own homes and stay active and engaged in their community. South Bay Village is also seeking donations to keep up with its operations, which include providing safe social activities, scholarships, and speaker presentations on senior issues. For more information, you can visit southbayvillage.org. What a great way to help our senior neighbors. Now, if you have a great story to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as Christine Lee brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.